Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely massive. We are looking at the incredible scale and significance of Samsung Electronics deploying OpenAI's ChatGPT Enterprise and Codex to its entire global workforce. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how one of the world's largest tech giants operates from the inside out. So if you really want to understand the future of enterprise AI, well, you're looking at the blueprint right here. We've got 5 key areas on the agenda today: the enterprise security gap, deploying ChatGPT and Codex, redefining developer workflows, workforce versus product AI, and finally, navigating market fragmentation. Let's get right into it. To truly grasp the stakes here, we really have to start with this number, 270,000. That is the number of Samsung employees who are gaining centralized access to these AI tools. We aren't talking about some small pilot program or a quiet little beta test for one department. No way. This is one of OpenAI's largest enterprise rollouts to date, spanning an entire global workforce. Okay, Section 1, the Enterprise Security Gap, Balancing Innovation and Data Protection. Looking at Samsung's timeline over the last few years tells us so much. Remember back in 2023? There was a huge security scare when engineers reportedly pasted highly sensitive source code right into the public consumer version of ChatGPT. That obviously forced Samsung to strictly restrict its use. And what followed was a pretty chaotic period. Early 2026 was marked by fragmented, ad hoc, and frankly risky usage of various AI tools by employees who were just trying to get their work done. But now, as of June 2026, we're seeing the arrival of a fully governed, centralized enterprise deployment. The whole point of this new deployment is that it finally locks the front door. By routing everything through controlled endpoints and enforcing strict organizational data policies, Samsung is letting its workforce harness advanced AI, but completely eliminating the nightmare of sensitive corporate data leaking out. IT gets the oversight they desperately need because everything is tracked right through their standard identity management systems. Moving on to Section 2, deploying ChatGPT and Codex, a dual-layer approach. So, they aren't just throwing a single chatbot at the wall to see what sticks. Samsung is being incredibly targeted here. They're essentially splitting their strategy into 2 distinct layers. On one side, you've got ChatGPT Enterprise handling general, secure productivity for the broader workforce, things like emails and documentation. But for the software engineers, they are deploying Codex. And Codex is not just a simple autocomplete tool. Relaunched earlier this year by OpenAI, it's a highly specialized coding agent that actually reads repositories, writes patches, and executes really complex, multi-step tasks. And this right here is the guarantee that makes it all feasible for a company like Samsung. By completely isolating these interactions, they can guarantee that their proprietary IP will never, ever accidentally be fed back into OpenAI's public training models. Everything is strictly scoped down with role-based access, keeping all that usage securely within their own compliance frameworks. All right, Section 3, redefining developer workflows, the evolution of coding. Dropping a tool like Codex into a 270,000-person ecosystem literally changes how things are built. We're witnessing a fundamental, ground-up shift in the workflow. Developers are moving away from meticulously writing syntax line by line. Instead, the workflow looks like this. Step 1, specify the task clearly. Step 2, let the AI autonomously execute it. And Step 3, which is now the most critical part of the job, heavily review the output and validate the integration. The human engineer shifts from being a typist to being an editor and a reviewer. If we dive straight into the Codex documentation, you can see just how autonomous this thing is. Utilizing its cloud capabilities, Codex connects directly to GitHub accounts. It runs background tasks in parallel using its own configurable cloud environments. Think about how wild that is for a second. It isn't just suggesting a line of code, it's autonomously creating automated pull requests right into your repositories. But, of course, because Codex can generate code so incredibly fast, teams have to adapt instantly. You literally have to establish strict, automated testing gates before you even think about merging these AI-suggested changes into production. The CI/CD pipeline has to be bulletproof to handle that kind of volume. Which brings us to Section 4, Workforce versus Product AI, defining the operational boundary. Samsung is putting on a masterclass here in separating operational tools from consumer products. They draw a very hard line. For the employee-facing AI, you need robust access controls and strict data residency, so they partnered with OpenAI. But for the product-facing AI, the stuff actually shipping on your Galaxy smartphone, they prioritize low latency and on-device inference. For that, they're using Google Gemini and their own internal Samsung Gauss models. It's all about using the right infrastructure for the right job. I absolutely love this detail because it perfectly illustrates a modern supply chain loop. Samsung, the hardware giant, builds the high bandwidth memory chips that literally power the AI boom. OpenAI buys those exact components from Samsung to train their massive models. And then OpenAI turns right around and sells the resulting AI productivity software back to Samsung to empower the engineers who are designing the next generation of chips. It is a brilliant closed-loop cycle. Finally, Section 5, Navigating Market Fragmentation, the Defensive Necessity. Let's look at the macro market data, because it shows exactly why standardizing on one enterprise platform is just an absolute necessity right now. According to an A16Z report on July traffic, ChatGPT is still miles ahead with a staggering 5.72 billion monthly web visits. Google's Gemini, however, is a formidable runner-up, seeing rapid growth with 700 million visits. The sheer scale is massive, and believe me, your employees know exactly what these tools are. But the market isn't just OpenAI and Google anymore. The landscape is shifting violently. Grok just surged 40% to hit 20 million active users after launching Grok 4. There is an absolute flood of Chinese apps dominating the global space right now. Apps like Quark, Daobao, and Kimi make up 22 of the top 50 mobile apps globally. On top of that, specialized web coding tools are skyrocketing, with Lovable hitting number 23 and Replit at number 41. It is an incredibly fragmented, chaotic landscape out there. Now, if you've ever managed a team, you know that shadow IT is a nightmare. Without a unified, governed toolchain, imagine 270,000 employees fracturing across dozens of unapproved APIs and random third-party coding agents. It would be chaos. By rolling out this OpenAI deployment, Samsung establishes a single source of truth. They reduce tool sprawl, they kill the urge for shadow IT, and they vastly simplify their compliance audits. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this to chew on. If a tech titan like Samsung is aggressively reshaping its entire global workforce around these AI tools today, how long until autonomous coding agents become a strict, mandatory requirement for every single engineering team out there? The future of AI-assisted engineering isn't just approaching, it's already here, operating at scale. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.